What's going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck Club here again, coming at you all with another video. Listen here. The title, you see it. It's right. I said it correctly. Taking a cue from one of my favorite YouTubers, Pink Book Lessons. Another Super City girl judge here in Fulton County Superior Court in Georgia, facing 15 charges from Fulton, from the state agency that investigates these judges, the Judicial Qualifications Commission. 15 charges. And thinks somehow she's not supposed to be removed from the bench. So, I don't know if you guys are aware or remember the case of Christina Peterson, that weird judge in Douglas County that was voted in because identity politics is something else. It's something else. Voting for people because they're young Black women and they're the first to be something is not a reason to entrust them with the power and the authority of sitting on a bench in a court of law where they're supposed to be upholding the law, not sitting here working on pride and egos. But when the crap comes from the fan and comes back down and rains on their head, now they wanted to cry. Everybody's being racist. Everybody's sitting out targeting me. I'm a young Black woman. Yeah, okay. Who's about to be removed from the bench? I think we are all sick and tired of the identity politics. Seems to be a plague or epidemic of just corrupt politicians. And now it's spilling over into our judicial branch of government. Where you would think, if anywhere else, don't let it fall into our courts, our justice system when it comes to this corruption. And then you have these judges being elected, and then they think they can do whatever they want without penalty or without consequence, as if they're above the rule of law. Go figure. You're not. You're not. So how do we hold them accountable? Well, the JQC is that agency that will, in the state of Georgia, they'll do an investigation in a hot minute. And then they'll bring the complaint before the Georgia Court of Appeals or the Georgia Supreme Court. And then they go from there and they determine whether or not you're competent enough to sit in this position of authority and power that you were elected, not appointed. So if you guys remember Christina Peterson, she's another elected judge that was removed from the bench, just sheer incompetence. And it was the right decision. And now Judge Shermela Williams is in the same predicament. But I want to just kind of give you guys a glimmer of what Christina Peterson, what she taught us all and the nonsense and the buffoonery that she carried on. So we're going to check out this video from Pink Book Lessons. You guys know I absolutely love Pink Book Lessons. Her content is always stellar. I want to make sure that you guys can see the video more than me. And just so you guys can see this pattern of behavior with these super city girl judges walking around full boss mode. And they think that they're untouchable because that's not how it works. Voters put you all in these positions. The JQC, along with the voters and the victims that you claim along the way, can have you removed. You're not untouchable. And it's opposed to them having some humility and conviction. They just carry on and double down. All right. So Judge Williams is up to bat. Let's get to it. This is Pink Book Lessons. Make sure you guys go on her channel, like all her videos and share. And then when you're done, come over back to the Lady Luck Club. Let's help achieve the goal of me hitting 50,000 subscribers by the end of April. I really want to ensure that this information is getting out. Share these videos and like and comment, subscribe, and all those good things. Thank you to all of the supporters that I have. I bless God for every single supporter here in the LLC. Y'all, this is how independent journalism works. The freedom of speech and expression and the press that we have. where we can report on these issues that the public has the right to know. When you're talking about voters putting you in this role, people have the right to know how you're conducting yourself on the bench, especially when your decisions are having a profound impact upon others and the lives of others, the people that voted for you in particular. All right, let's take a look at this video here with Christina Peterson before I divulge into Shermela Williams, so you all can see how they act just alike.
2021, I covered a woman in Georgia. I named her the City Girl Judge. She happened to be the first City Girl Judge that I covered for her out of order behavior. And back then, people would ask, why do you call them City Girls? In short, there was a crazy misconception going around that somehow the only city girl was some uneducated, flamboyant flamingo like Risha or scamming flamingo like JT. No, the city girls with the perceived power and authority, they're walking around with titles, and a lot of them also have degrees. They're in the bank, the hospital, the boardroom, classroom, and the courtroom. But this one right here, city girl Christina Peterson, she really took black girl queen magic to the head, got up there in office, started showing her behind right away. I watched this woman go from a reality show flamingo on the Oprah Winfrey Network to a probate judge. And I could not believe that citizens voted for this woman in real life. She was elected in 2020, just like a wave of women in Georgia. And not just in Georgia, but all over the country. Feminists everywhere of all races bragged about how women were taking over. A bunch of women. Black women specifically also benefited, many becoming the first ever in their seat. That was celebrated all over social media. Support stemming from the intense public demand for change, especially in race relations, really to pacify supporters of people like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. In that situation, somebody thought it was a good idea to give a group of black women $90 million, running an organization they named BLM to address injustices of black men, but they ended up using that money for the LGBT in their own personal mansions.
Yep.
IRS e-file is now open.
Yeah, you gotta have ads. They're ads. They have to be there.
The other bright idea to fix the grievances came in the form of electing a bunch of hyenas in office all over the country, from the DA office to mayors to the bench. Fast forward 4 years, a lot of these women are under investigation after hoodwinking the people who elected them, promising change, and instead they seem to be more oppressive to their own constituents who are also black. Like City Girl Mayor Tiffany Teflon Tahoe of Dalton, Illinois, and OG City Girl Mayor Keisha. She was up there windmilling at the meetings and getting her son to fight residents complaining about her.
They should be in
So
prison.
yeah, City Girl Christina got into office in a town outside of Atlanta, the Douglasville, Georgia area. She was the first black woman to hold the position, and all the power quickly went to her head. She was acting a fool at the courthouse with the staff, from administrative to law enforcement, the citizens in the courtroom, and it even spilled out into her personal life. Things got really heated in her own neighborhood after she was accused of running off with her neighbor.
Could anyone think that these photos are appropriate again? How could anyone think, yeah, these photos, let me take these type of photos and then go be somebody's judge? Why are you taking these photos? It's like they need a class or a training session on etiquette. They need etiquette classes or something. If you first of all, if you need etiquette classes, let me take that back. If you need etiquette classes, you should not be running for a judge. That's it, period. Why are you taking these types of photos? What the hell? This is Christina Peterson, y'all. We're going to get to Shermela Williams. I just want you all to see the pattern of behavior.
It was money, and that's a whole different saga. And then she used her position as a county judge to intimidate her neighbors and shut down their grievances. Now, 3 years later, after I first reported on this tyrant, she's about to be removed from the bench permanently. Yes, a Georgia panel voted to kick the first OG City Girl judge off the bench. And of course, now she's crying racism when she's finally being held accountable. We're going to get into it, but first, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. Won't waste any time. Let's go ahead and get into it.
I just wanted to give you guys that taste. Please go check out Pink Book Lessons and check out this entire video. Georgia judge faces consequences, will be permanently removed after misconduct complaints. So here we have now going over to Super City Girl Judge number 2. Shermela J. Williams of Fulton County, because I guess they ain't learning the lesson. Yeah. Y'all not learning at all. So we just gonna keep following this horrible pattern of behavior? Okay. Introducing Shermela Williams. This is in 2020 when she was seeking to be a candidate and running for this position. And she won. She had Bobby Valentino endorse her. How much did that cost? And now you're a city girl judge sitting here with 15 charges you're facing. Now, Christina Peterson unlawfully incarcerated a woman over a marriage license. Hear me when I say incarcerated a woman over a marriage license issue. I don't care what the specifics are with it. It was not a lawful detainment. And here's Shermela Williams. We're going to get into her 15 charges she's facing. Oh, God.
Hello, my name is Shermela Williams, and I humbly seek your vote and your support for Fulton County Superior Court Judge.
Dear God,
I was born and raised right here in Fulton County. I've served in this community since I was a child through Girl Scouts, church, my sorority, work, and a host of other volunteer opportunities. I know the needs of our community. I know the challenges that our citizens face day in and day out, challenges that we all must overcome. I am running for judge to help make our community a better, safer place for everyone. We need judges with experience, and I am that person. I have hands-on experience in criminal, civil, and family law, the 3 types of cases that come before the Fulton County Superior Court bench. I was a prosecutor for nearly a decade. I prosecuted everything from robbery to murder cases, burglaries, sex crimes, and everything in between. I've also been a criminal.
And somehow she does not understand the differences between those cases. Like she allows the criminal side to spill over into family court. You'll see what I'm talking about. So just tune in.
Criminal defense attorney. I currently represent individuals and businesses in lawsuits. I've represented husbands and wives, mothers and fathers in family law cases. My experience allows me to be balanced in making decisions that affect our everyday citizens and impact our community. We need judges who are committed to the intersection of justice, compassion, and mercy. I am that person. I am committed to empowering our youth, strengthening our families, and protecting our streets. I'm committed to ending the revolving door of recidivism that causes safety concerns.
Remember, she said empowering our youth. Keep that in mind.
For all of us. I'm committed to a court that is a court for all people, of all people. With your vote on May 19th, 2020, let's bring my experience to the bench and vote Shermela Williams for Fulton County Superior Court Judge. Thank you.
Okay, so let's move on to a couple articles here. All right, just so you all can see, why while we're reporting on her, first of all, and secondly, what she's being accused of doing. And this isn't the original complaint now, just help you all out, was filed going back to 2024. Okay, so let's get to it. Here we turn to a very good article on abusivediscretion.com, and they did a full article on her. Just kind of going over the original charges that she handled, that she had against her levied from the JQC. The JQC is a state agency here in the state of Georgia, the Judicial Qualifications Commission. They're like the watchdog of judges. So if you have a complaint about misconduct, the judge being biased, they're violating certain rules that judges know they should not be violating, you file a complaint with the JQC. Courtney Veal is the director over there. She will be hearing from me again soon. And they take these cases on, and just like with Christina Peterson, they brought forth charges against her in the complaint. There was a whole hearing that was conducted with the Georgia Court of Appeals, and then they determined that she should be removed. She was given an opportunity to file an appeal. What happened with that during the appeal process She went out to a nightclub, got rowdy, called herself defending another female from another guy in a whole different situation. Police showed up. She attacks the police and they got charged with a felony. I'm not trying to ridicule her for being charged, but you are a judge. Was there no way you could just talk to the cop to say, listen, this guy was putting his hands on this female over here and something needs to happen? You don't even have to tell them your job title. But, you know, she turned around, was just flinging around and just letting it loose and hit the cop. And it was captured on the police body camera. So, of course, her appeal was denied. The JQC, ruling was upheld. The ruling from the JQC complaint was upheld because the appeal went to the Georgia Supreme Court. They said, nah, we're going to uphold that. You don't know how to act. Plus, the sheer incompetence of it all. You incarcerated a woman for no reason over a marriage license. So now that she no longer has judicial immunity, she can be sued. I suggest all of her victims file lawsuits against her in a court of law. That should be interesting. Now we have Georgia Judge Shermela Williams accused of favoring sorority sister mishandling cases. So if you heard the video, she said she participates in community. She's a judge for all people when she's not. And one of the things she mentioned was her sorority, which is Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated. I wish they would just kick her out the sorority. I mean, why allow people to sit here and represent the sorority when they're doing this? So on Thursday, June 6th of 2024, the Georgia JQC filed formal charges against Shermela J. Williams, a judge on the Fulton County Superior Court, accusing her of 17 counts of violating the Georgia Code of Judicial Conduct through her handling of cases. Case is entitled In the Matter of Judge Shermela J. Williams, with case numbers. And here are the case numbers cited. There are several more now. The charges stem from 3 separate complaints lodged against Judge Williams regarding her handling of 8 different cases in her court. 8 at the time. This is in 2024. 8. Specifically, Williams is accused of giving preferential treatment to a sorority sister in a child custody case and failing to issue timely rulings in several domestic cases. According to the complaint, Williams was assigned a child custody case in September 2021, where one of the attorneys involved belonged to the same sorority as the judge. How would anyone know that this attorney belongs to your sorority unless you said something because of reasons? So you couldn't keep that to yourself? You just had to tell people in the courtroom, right? He said so. Look at that. What? Why is that important to know? Unless you were saying that to build the foundation as to why you're about to recuse yourself, which would have been the ethical and lawful thing to do. Because even federal laws and Supreme Court rulings speak to the impropriety or the appearance of failing to remain impartial and neutral. When there is even a doubt of the court's ability to remain impartial, and it's justifiable, like you having a connection to one of the attorneys through your sorority, you should recuse yourself. No one should have to ask you to do it. No, because, these egos, boy, they get to these city girls' heads along with these weird wigs they wear. The wigs or something else. It's like, Your Honor, it's not my fault. It was my sew-in. And now she'll be more offended at me exercising freedom of the press and freedom of speech. No, you have the entire internet that's about to ascend upon you. Yeah. But we get the right to report on your nonsense and what you're doing to yourself. Now you sit here and just let your ego and your pride get in the way. As opposed to you just saying, you know what? I recognize you. I know you're my sorority sister. I'm going to recuse myself because I ain't got time for this. You're not going to pay my mortgage. Bye. That's it. Well, what was the benefit to not recusing yourself on your own, which is what case law says you should do? The judicial branch of government, if that starts to dwindle and fail and fall apart because of politics or identity politics, because we're all sick of people going and following along the lines of this race card nonsense, because you're in trouble for not following the law. And you chose to behave in a manner where the JQC is bringing forth 15 to 17 charges against you. All because of your actions and what you chose to do. Now you want to sit and handle a case because one of the attorneys is your sorority sister, and you openly show preferential treatment. You chose to be biased as hell. Why? Because you're the judge? Yeah. See, you were put in that position by voters, and it is the will of the people, as well as the JQC and many laws and courtrooms and the Judicial Code of Conduct for judges, that says, no, it's time for you to answer for this nonsense. Your whole staff need to go with you. Brittany Green, Chandra Walton, all y'all need to go. All y'all need to go. You're going to be heavily reported on. Courtney Veal, you're going to have to do something to get this case moving along. It's not fair that it's stagnant, because Judge Williams' attorney knew he had a murder trial. Ironic how the timing of this is, oh, we have to postpone this because I got a murder trial. Oh, okay, no, we don't care. She can get another attorney to represent herself. She's a judge. Whatever. She went to law school. You handled a myriad of cases. You can handle your own, right? You know, when judges need attorneys, part 1. No, part 2. Christina Peterson had an attorney too. She got removed, rightfully so. You had to go, girl. Now we got Super City Girl Judge number 2. You know, because #boss move. Y'all want to sit here and ignore that laws exist and rules that you're supposed to abide by, just so you can show favoritism and preferential treatment to your sorority sister. Is Delta Sigma Theta going to pay your mortgage when you get kicked off the bench? Are they paying your mortgage? Because I think Delta Sigma Theta would probably say, hell no. They'd be like, oh, we ain't paying that girl mortgage. Why risk your whole career over showing preferential treatment to one attorney because of a sorority connection? Why? How is that smart? Not smart. Not smart to do that. Not smart at all. That is dumb to do. Very dumb to do. But whatever. When the mother's lawyer inquired if the case could be reassigned to avoid even the appearance of bias, Judge Williams directly contacted the mother on her personal cell phone. So, you know, ex parte communication, something that y'all keep tagging in y'all email signatures that you don't really mean because of reasons. Hypocrisy. You're hypocritical. That's why I said her staff needs to go. Brittany Green, Chandra Walton, all of them need to go. The entire chambers of Shermela Williams need to be fired. And I don't advocate for people losing their jobs, but all of you all need to go. All of you need to go with it. Because if you can't hold her accountable and remind her of laws and ethics and integrity and morality, then you shouldn't be serving in the court either. Because how are you upholding the law and court rules here? All y'all need to go. Oh, yeah. I have more people going to be reporting on you. Yeah, wow. Look at you. You directly contacted the mother on her personal cell phone to discuss the case without informing the father who filed the petition, because this is considered ex parte communication. Jesus Christ. Williams is also accused of canceling an initial hearing to avoid the other attorney learning about the case due to sorority ties. What? You canceled an initial hearing to avoid the other attorney learning about the case due to sorority ties so that you can continue to show preferential treatment to your sorority sister. What? You can't make this up. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. You just can't make this up. This is egregious. It's egregious. You got to go. Courtney Veal, you need to do your magic. Get Ashley Merchant to help you and get this woman off the bench. The other charges stem Oh my God. Hold on. I'm missing something. Hold on. Let me go back. Don't want to skip that. Over the following months, as concerns about bias were raised by attorneys on both sides, Judge Williams refused to recuse herself from the case because her pride and ego just got in the way, along with that wig. It is alleged she told another attorney not involved in the case that she did not want to recuse due to political concerns. What political concerns? What does politics have to do with the law? You're the judicial branch of government. You're a representation of that. You are a separate but co-equal branch of power. Who care about your political concerns? No one. The laws do not. No one cares about your political concerns. They're irrelevant. They are irrelevant when it comes to you upholding the law. No one cares. This is the reason why you got to go. Political concerns? Stop, please. The will of the people put you in, and the will of the people will get you out. The JQC has to remove you, or you'll be voted out. Either way, you're going to be gone anyway. Either way, you got to go. You got to go. They need to do a special recall. Just in case as a backup measure. There needs to be a special recall in place. Yeah, get a petition on that started. Yep. Because this is ridiculous. There are other competent attorneys that can do this job better and will uphold the standards and the code of conduct they're required to uphold. Who took an oath to the Constitution. You have laws in place, court documents and precedents, case law in place to help you govern your courtroom, and you choose to sit here and refuse to recuse yourself due to political concerns that still have no bearing in a court of law. None. That should not have any bearing in a court of law. And complained the mother had made it personal. Who were you to complain? She made it personal? No, you made it personal the moment you pointed out the fact that this was a sorority system. No one needed to know that. But I get it. Yeah, whatever. Jesus Christ. Williams only voluntarily recused herself minutes after denying the mother's recusal motion. So she denied the mother's recusal motion, and then minutes after that said, fine, I recuse myself. Because you know you should be doing that anyway. Put your pride to the side that no one cares about. Go eat some collard greens and sit down. Citing alleged misrepresentations, though maintaining direct contact with the mother earlier in the case. Alleged misrepresentations. So you trying to say she lied as if a call log couldn't prove her right? You admitted that you contacted her. Oh my God. Y'all, we got the complaint. She filed some responses as well. She admitted to it. She admitted in her response to the complaint that she indeed contacted the mother on her personal cell phone. And you trying to lie. What? Another Super City Girl judge got to go. You got to go. Courtney Veal, you better work your magic. Or the court of public opinion is going to help you. And we're definitely going to vote her out. You got to go. Are you kidding? The other charges stem from Williams' delays in issuing rulings for several domestic cases. The JQC complaint specifies 7 cases where litigants waited between 14 and 30 months for decisions. You know, like their quality of life was just insignificant to you. The people that you said you were going to represent in Fulton County, yeah, you still didn't give a crap about those same people, some of which may have voted for you. Yep, we won't make that mistake again. We're not voting on identity politics anymore. No one cares that you're a Black woman. Despite repeated requests to expedite the matter. Repeated requests to the court to expedite the matters. In 2 child support cases, final orders were allegedly given over 2.5 years after final hearings concluded. Williams only ruled after warnings of complaints against her for the tardiness. Yeah, she waited 2.5 years and then she gets a warning of a complaint. A warning of a complaint, not a full complaint. A warning of such. Yeah, I guess I'll just do this now. Why you couldn't do it 2.5 years ago? I'm sorry. We don't mean to interrupt you being a super city girl judge and doing whatever you're doing. God knows, eating collard greens, putting in wigs. We don't mean to bother you, but since you decided to be a judge, can you please do your job and sign an order? Oh my God. Or not use falsely reported income to calculate child support and correct the court of record, you can do that. Courtney Veal, you have a whole complaint coming your way again. Many reportings from many YouTubers. Yeah. Because this cannot continue on. You're hurting families with this. And you don't seem to care. So why should we care about you maintaining this position? We don't. No, this is horrible. If found guilty of any of the 17 counts, some of which she admitted to, Williams faces potential penalties ranging from a public reprimand to removal from office. And we're all just wanting this removal from office. That's it. Removal from office. You gotta go. She has maintained through her attorney that she conducted herself properly and aims to defend her actions and reputation as a fair and just jurist. Yeah, okay. While her attorney goes to court and says, "Oh, we need to put a pause on this because I have a Merck trial that I have to, litigate over and oversee." Yeah, I forgot about that case. Now you're stalling. Courtney Veal, they are stalling. You're gonna get a lot of requests for this case to be expedited because that is a stall tactic. She could get another attorney to represent herself. She's an attorney. She went to law school. She practiced law. She just bragged about it in that minute 24-second video. Represent yourself pro se. Because you'll get that same pro se treatment you've given to others where you don't care. Because you don't care. Just insane. Insane. So here's a copy of the original. And I'm just pulling this up because this is just a quick glance of the original here. Before the hearing panel, JQC, state of Georgia, formal charges. You guys can see here. The investigative panel of the JQC initiated and conducted full investigations regarding allegations of judicial misconduct against Judge Shermela J. Williams of the Superior Court of Fulton County. This is case number S as in Sam, 24Z as in Zebra, 1139, filed on June 6, 2024. It's 36 pages long, so it's a good read. The Supreme Court docket. Pursuant to JQC Rule 17, the investigative panel conducted the formal charges should be filed for the purpose of determining whether Judge Williams has violated the Code of Judicial Conduct, and if so, I'm going to say JC for short, whether she has committed willful misconduct in office, willfully and persistently failed to perform the duties of office, whether her conduct is prejudicial to the administration of justice, such that it brings the judicial office into disrepute. Yeah, no, she's been a horrible representation of our judicial branch of government, and she needs to be removed. This is no different so far than Christina Peterson, who was removed as well. The biasness, just lying about simple things. You lied about calling someone, saying it's an alleged misrepresentation. You called her on the phone. It's called ex parte communication. And the other party was not present. Why are you calling her trying to talk to her about the case? Make that make sense. Nobody wants that nonsense on their shoulders. You know why? Because the other party finds out, guess what happens? Well, got reason to file an appeal because you show favoritism. All that ex parte communication going on. So guess what, Brittany Green? Your weird signatures and your emails mean nothing because you guys are hypocritical to that ex parte communication concept. You didn't care about that. This was just last year when this is filed. Just last year. They pick and choose whom they want to sit and try to exercise the laws with because they're biased. That's how it is. That's it. They're extraordinarily biased. Why is the court of record not being corrected on someone's income when you're using false income reported to you to calculate child support again? When there's evidence to show what the real income is? How hard is that? Why was that denied? Yeah, you need to go. Yeah, whole law is about correcting the court of record. At least calculate child support correctly. When people are showing you, here's my actual income. Where did you get that number from? It's numbers. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. What are we doing? Wow. Pursuant to JQC Rule 19, the director files these formal charges with the JQC hearing panel and requests that proceedings be instituted for purposes of determining whether Williams' conduct violates the code of JC, and if so, the appropriate discipline. Yes, she needs to be removed. Jurisdiction. Well, she was admitted to the State Bar of Georgia. She was elected to the Superior Court of Fulton County. Took office in January 2021. It's April 2025. Please tell me she was not reelected. With all this going on, this is last year when this was filed. People still reelected you. Yeah, okay. That mistake will not happen again. At all times pertinent to these charges, Williams was subject to the code of JC. All right. So you guys can see the counts. These are the facts here of the case. They have various cases that they utilize to support the allegations here. Going back to 2021, she was assigned to a case. A hearing notice was e-filed, setting it for a 30-day hearing. The respondent mother in the case is an attorney and serves as guardian ad litem in Metro Atlanta. When the petition was filed, respondent was serving as a guardian ad litem in cases pending before Williams, which is probably a conflict. Seriously, respondent mother. So the respondent, being the mother in a case, was an attorney and was serving as a guardian ad litem for other cases that was sitting on her docket that was pending before Judge Williams. I mean, clearly that's a conflict of interest. Oh my God, these people went to law school. The respondent mother was an attorney as well and serving as a guardian ad litem. Y'all guardian ad litems are pimps of the court. You know, I'm not knocking their pimp game, but they know they charge asinine amounts of money to represent children, almost vulnerable. Those are the population you're taking advantage of. The kids are already gone through enough seeing their parents having to go through court. I personally would prefer to just mediate. Nope. When the other parent wants to go through court because their ego is dumb, it puts the kids in these vicarious situations. And the judges don't really, when they're favoring one person over the other, don't push for that party to even justify, okay, why are you failing to try to mediate again? Especially when one party is all for the mediation and to keep it out of the court, keep it in our court. The parents, keep the ball in our court as the parents, because we gave birth to these kids. These are our children. Now, you don't pressure the other side when they're failing to mediate because you're favoring that side. Because biased, just biased, it's absolutely biased. Laws don't, I guess laws don't matter to you. All right, this is why you're being removed. Serves as guardian ad litem. This is just serves as guardian ad litem, and you're responding in a matter, and then you have other cases you're asserting as a gal. The gal is short for guardian ad litem, so you're serving as a gal in other cases pending before her. Respondent hired attorney KF to represent her. On or about October 21, attorney KF called Williams' office, spoke with JB, Williams' then new staff attorney. Is that Brittany Green? Yeah, I don't know. During the conversation, KF identified herself as respondent's attorney. KF asked JB whether there was a process in place to have respondent's case assigned to a senior judge. JB advised she was unsure, but would find out and get back to KF. Come on. This is insane. Later that day, a member of Williams' staff gave Judge Williams a message regarding KF's inquiry. In response to the message, Williams remarked that she knew respondent and had her cell phone number, so she would just call her. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. You just can't make this up. Oh my good Lord. You got to go. You got to go. Please get her off the bench. This is, man. And, you know, the judge is sitting on the Court of Appeals and probably be like, I see this. I read this. It's a panel of judges in the Georgia Court of Appeals, right? Like 3, 4, 5 of them, I don't know. They're going to be looking at each other like, just read this. You just said this flat out. I'm just gonna call her. I got a personal cell phone number. I'm just gonna call her. Y'all see that? Oh, you should have never been elected. That's what oh man, Fulton County, we screwed that up. Oh my God, there are other people that can serve as a judge that would be more competent, qualified, ethical, moral, and have more integrity. And you know what's bothersome? Your fellow judges are not correcting you when you're wrong. They're not guiding and leading and correcting each other. They're backing each other up because they don't want to speak ill of each other. No, when you screw up, you make this whole court look bad. Fulton County Superior Court looks like crap because your chief judge has shown bias on national television. He charged a criminal defense attorney with direct criminal contempt of court because he himself participated in an ex parte communication with the DA's office in the YSL case. Brian, oh Lord have mercy, Brian had to endure and suffer through the most cringiest hearings ever when he brought it up to Judge Oral Glanville's attention that he was aware that Judge Oral Glanville participated in ex parte communication with the prosecutor in the YSL case. And the judge, as opposed to saying, I'm sorry about that, that is not how it went, but I apologize, you should have been there. Charge that to me. I'll take the hit for it. No, what does he do? How did you find out? Tell me your name. Give me a name. You ain't gonna give me no name? All right, I'm gonna hold you in direct criminal contempt of court. Ashley Merchant had to come down to the courthouse that day. Ashley Merchant is over this organization that represents criminal defense attorneys in Atlanta. This criminal defense attorneys association, this group, had to come to the courthouse. It was over 20, 25 of them coming together, banding it together to represent Brian because he was not given due process or hearing anything. Judge Glanville got mad and he let his ego get in the way. And it took another fellow judge in the court who still tried to say, well, you know, I don't think he has the ability to be biased. You know, I think he can still proceed with the case. No, he can't. No, he can't. He tried to unlawfully incarcerate someone. And Ashley Merchant came down and shined before the world stage. It was televised all over national television. She was smart, sharp, and witty, was citing case law, giving argument on the spot. Mind you, Brian had just been held in direct criminal contempt of court and was actually sentenced to serve time in jail for like 10 consecutive weekends. Ashley Merchant had to come down there with 20 to 25 people, but then Judge Glanville said, well, all of them can't come in here. Why? This is a public hearing. They have the right to a public hearing. He has the right to have his representation there with him. What do you mean? That's not your courtroom. That's the people's courtroom. Our tax dollars pay for that. And yet and still, this is the chief judge of Fulton County Superior Court setting this example on the world stage. And now, Super City Girl Judge Shermela Williams following suit, doing all this nonsense because no one wants to put Judge Oral Glanville in check. Another judge who did grant a motion for him to be recused had to sit here and almost gloat on his behind just to grant the motion for Judge Glanville to be removed from that case. Because you cannot just hold someone in direct criminal contempt of court simply because they're bringing to your attention that they found out that you participated in ex parte communication. And now you have Shermela Williams doing this nonsense. You're notifying an attorney who's a respondent in a case. You got her personal cell phone number. Talking about you'll just call her? This is some nonsense. I wouldn't even want to work for her if I was the senior staff attorney. Brittany Green. I'm like, I don't want to be affiliated with that. Because when she get removed, Brittany Green should be fired for failing to keep this judge in check. All y'all went to law school. You have a duty to ensure that you're following the law. Your personal feelings about politics and all this nonsense is irrelevant. No one cares, not even the rule of law. Our U.S. Constitution doesn't care. Case law precedents don't care. And as opposed to a fellow attorney saying, Judge, you can't do that. We're reading about it black and white. This is unbelievable. Just the boldness of it all. Grief. Oh, man. So she identified herself as respondent's attorney. She spoke with JB, the new staff attorney. The staff attorney now. So each judge has like at least 2 attorneys that are part of their staff to help them prepare filings and pleadings and things of that nature. They all went to law school, so they're supposed to help correct each other too when there's something going on with the misinterpretation of law, court rule, or procedures, guidelines, stuff like that. I mean, this is unbelievable. The staff attorney, JB, had to be witness to this nonsense. That's it. I'm wondering if that then staff attorney reported this. If it's Brittany Green, then no, she didn't. Asked JB whether there was a process in place to have respondent's case assigned to a senior judge. She said she would find out. She wasn't sure. A whole judge said she got a personal cell phone of the respondent who's an attorney, and she's just gonna call her. Yeah, all that ex parte communication going on. Williams then called respondent on her personal cell phone. Who, just because she was an attorney, she was a party to the case. That means this is ex parte communication because you're calling one of the parties in the case. Do I really have to give this breakdown? I mean, I'm sure a whole judge knows that, but yet didn't care. I mean, look at the example that's being set down there with Judge Glanville. God. Ooh, we got to stop voting for identity politics. This is god awful. During the conversation, Williams told respondent that a senior judge would not be assigned to hear respondent's case. Williams inquired about whether respondent was embarrassed to have Williams hear the case, and responded affirmatively and explained. Williams then attempted to assuage respondent's concerns, referencing the fact that the 2 women are members of the same sorority or are sorors multiple times. So she's telling you, I don't feel comfortable with you hearing the case because of that. Because we're sorority sisters. I'm an attorney. I'm a gal in other cases pending before you. And I'm a party to this case. And you're calling me on my personal cell phone without the other party being present. That's ex parte communication. You're going to mess this case up for me. Because if the other party, the petitioner, the father, wanted to file an appeal to say there was ex parte communication, guess what? Georgia Court of Appeals said, yeah, you know what? That's valid. That's a valid reason to have an appeal and to set aside this whole ruling. Then they have to go through all that crap again because you called someone and you're trying to convince her, no, this is okay. It's okay. We're sorority sisters. We're sorors. Is that soror going to pay your mortgage when you get removed from the bench? Because I'm curious to know. Was it worth it? It don't seem like it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Williams told respondent that JB, who is in the same sorority as the judge and respondent, expressed concern that the call to respondent would be ex parte communication because that's exactly what the hell it was. Y'all, we can't make this up. In response to JB's expressed concern, Williams told respondent, she told JB that making the call was fine as respondent was a soror is on the shield. What does that mean? Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated. What does that mean? Please explain to me what it means to say it's on the shield. What the hell does that mean? A soror. It's on the shield. What? I, so, what does this have to do with the law? This is about the law. It's illegal. You can't make this stuff up. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to kind of summarize the rest of this here. Respondent said she would handle the schedule of the case such that the case would not be placed on calendars with respondent's colleagues' cases or with her client's cases. Williams further advised that she would remove the case from the upcoming 30-day hearing calendar and reschedule it. The conclusion of the call, Williams asked respondent if she wished to three-way call her attorney, KF, to tell her about the plan. Respondent declined. No. What is wrong with this judge? Super city girl judge, you are screwing up. You don't think you should be your attorney is delusional if he thinks that there is no way you should be removed from this right here. This is just, y'all, we haven't even gotten to this, like the second, third charge, maybe. There's 17 in this filing. 17 charges. You can't make this up. Oh, you are the worst. At the conversation, Williams did not notify the opposing party. Williams' conversation with respondent on October 18, 2021, and at some point before October 28, 2021, Williams and or her staff canceled the 30-day hearing, which was set for October 28, 2021. This was done without notice or explanation to the opposing party. That sounds familiar to me. That sounds very familiar to me. Yeah, that's her pattern of behavior. She does that a lot. This is why Courtney Veal will be hearing from the Lady Luck Club again. And many more reportings that's going to come out from many more YouTubers. We got to make this public, y'all. Just like with Christina Peterson, Shermela Williams got to go. You got to go. You are sitting here. You got the attorney having more integrity than you as the judge. You got to go. You got to get the hell out of here. This is crazy. This is insane. You retaliated by just canceling a hearing without notice or explanation. That's so childish. Oh my God. December 2nd, 21, the hearing notice was e-filed in the case, setting it for a motions hearing on December 14th. December 14th, 21 hearing. Williams told the parties on the record that respondent was serving as a guardian ad litem in cases pending before her. Williams told the parties they could make whatever motions they saw to be fit. Williams explained, I can tell you respondent is not going to get any greater or more favorable treatment than a petitioner or anybody else who comes in, but I wanted to make sure I got that on the record and let you all know. What does that mean? Nothing. It means nothing because she had to set you straight. Which is what her senior staff attorney should be doing, Brittany Green. Setting her straight when she steps out of line. You know, because checks and balances, that's how that works. Even when it's uncomfortable to say it. Might lose my job. Oh, okay, well, I'll just sue you behind. Whatever. But you're still wrong. The end. It's not that hard. I'm going to sleep peacefully tonight. Reporting on another super city girl judge that needs to be removed from the bench, just like Christina Peterson. You know, Shermela Williams, I suggest you get to know Christina Peterson because you and Christina Peterson are about to become very fast friends because you both don't know how to act and does not deserve to be sitting on a bench in any court for any reason whatsoever. Oh my God, your bar license should be revoked. That's also the reason that I ensured that these hearings were specifically before me, such that there was not the transition that normally happens with judicial officers, and to make sure that literally I think somebody filed a 1004 subsequent to that, but that's why your initial hearing was rescheduled to make sure. Yeah, Courtroom 1004.1 is basically saying, I don't want a judicial officer to hear my case. Judicial officers are like physician's assistants. You know, they have the same education, they can fill prescriptions, but a PA works under the direction of a medical doctor. It's the same concept with a judicial officer. They work under the direction of the presiding judge. So you just cancel the hearing without notice or explanation because you're trying to make sure you're somehow doing something right that you're still doing wrong. You can't make this up. Let's keep going. Williams continues, so any objections to me handling the case, and I can tell you that if you ask for a recusal, you're going to have to recuse the whole Fulton County bench. So I don't know where you are going. What does that mean? What does that mean? So you throwing out a threat? Fine. All of y'all need to go. Recuse yourself. We take this to a whole nother county. We'll file the appropriate document to send this to DeKalb County. Yes, we're going to the DeKalb County today. Y'all come on, hurry up. Just give me all the documents. Go get your attorneys and your senior staff attorneys and Chandra Walton. Y'all get all my docs together because we're going to DeKalb County. You don't want to handle it in Fulton. Yo, okay. Great. All y'all recuse y'all asses off my case. I don't even care. Thank you for giving me the heads up that all of you are corrupt in Fulton County Superior Court. Thank you. I needed to hear that. Are you kidding me? Y'all see this? This is what happens when judges don't put judges in check. Or senior staff attorneys. Brittany Green. When you all are not sitting here putting each other in check and making sure you're doing the right thing. Because she's basically saying you have to recuse all of us because we all suck. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Respondent's attorney KF did not object to Williams handling the case, probably because they're scared. God. Oh, my God. Okay, so there's some dialogue here. I just, you're bullying people from the bench. You're saying nonsense like this. That would not have been a threat to me. That would have been like, oh, thank you for confirming what I already knew. I've seen your boss on TV. He's worse. Judge Glanville is worse. And no one wants to put him in check. No one wants to say to him, you acting up. The attorney that granted Brian's recusal from that YSL case because he tried to lock this man up because he found out about ex parte communication, which seems to be a common pattern of behavior here, like a repeat pattern of behavior with some of these judges in Fulton County Superior Court. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I mean, from what Judge Williams is saying, is all of Fulton County, because all y'all are doing some messed up stuff. I mean, all of you should be recused. From what she's saying, there's reasons. I would have been like, yeah, go ahead. That's not a threat to me. That's confirmation. Thank you. And yeah, all y'all recuse yourselves. Everybody got to go. You kidding me? That would have made my day saying that. Thank you. Yeah, I hope we got that on the record. Williams proceeded to question petitioner's attorney about why she should recuse from the case, disputing that Judge Williams, had a favorable opinion of or had treated respondent favorably. Following exchange then ensued, petitioner's attorney, my client just indicated that he doesn't feel comfortable with the situation of respondent frequently appearing before you and not in a capacity as and then of course she interjects and disrupts the whole thing. Does he recognize that respondent frequently appears before Fulton County judges, period, as a gal and a lawyer? Yes, he understands that, says petitioner's attorney. Judge Williams, so how am I any different? What specifically have I said and or done that makes me biased? You just said you got to recuse all of Fulton County. Now you sitting here, wait a minute. You have to recuse the whole Fulton County bench. So I don't know where you are going. You're trying to force them to keep you on the case? You can't even sign orders within a reasonable time frame based on court rules. Based on court rules. So why do you care? It's one less case off your plate. Wouldn't that be a help to you? Wouldn't that be a good thing for you when you're taking up to 30 months to sign an order? You can't make this up. This is insanity. Y'all. Oh, Lord. I'm like, this is sad. She got to go. But I'm laughing because of the boldness of it all. Super City girl judge with that wig and honey, that lace front tie. You sitting here sure enough acting up in the name of Delta Sigma Theta. You acting up. You are acting up. The whole sorority need to kick you out. That way you ain't got to worry about no more sorority sisters and some sitting on a shield. No one cares what it means because we picked you out. You got to go. You're just embarrassing all of us. Jesus. How am I any differently? What specifically have I said and or done that makes me biased? Because that's what he has to prove for recusal. Because you're going to have, no, it's just the impropriety of such. Because that's case law and precedence. No one has to prove that you're biased. Yeah, the appearance of it is enough. Case law says that. There's precedence for that. Georgia Supreme Court rule. It's something you should be aware of because you went to law school. You went to law school. You are going to have the same exact issue if I recuse myself and it goes to Judge Farmer. Respondent's attorney does respondent have cases pending before Judge Farmer? Yes. What about Judge Newkirk? Yes. What about Judge Schwab? Yes. And also in Gwinnett County and other metro Atlanta counties. Just so we're clear and so the record is clear, what counties does the respondent have cases pending, whether it be as gal or as an attorney? Respondent then advised Williams that she has cases pending in multiple metro counties. These are irrelevant questions, by the way, because they ask you to recuse yourself because of your connection with her as her sorority sister, and because you called her on her personal cell phone by ex parte communication. There are more reasons than one that they could have given, but no, the attorney just sitting here entertaining this buffoonery. Williams then asked respondent what other counties she practiced in. Respondent stated she practiced in every county in the metro area. Williams then asked petition attorney, so based on that thought process, how does that make me biased? Because you are connected to her in other ways. After asking respondent a few questions, petition's attorney withdrew her request for Judge Williams to recuse. Look at that. Bullying these people out of these decisions. Disgusting. Williams then directed the parties to mediation, heard pending motions, and concluded the hearing. At no point during December 14, 2021 hearing did Judge Williams notify the petitioner or his attorney of her Judge Williams' October 18, 2021 conversation with respondent on her personal cell phone. January 13, 2022, Williams presided over a temporary hearing in the case. The hearing was not completed on this date. January 24, 2022, responded through another attorney, WA. E-filed respondent's motion for recusal. The motion was based in part on information which was presented at the January 13, 2022 hearing. February 2nd, 2022, petitioner's attorney e-filed petitioner's response to respondent's motion for recusal, joining in respondent's request that Judge Williams recuse from the case. So both attorneys said, girl, listen here, Super City Girl Judge. Bye. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. Both attorneys came together. You see what happens with the power of one, with the power of two. Both of you coming together to say, nah, you need to recuse yourself. We both agree. You got to go. You got to go. We can't do this. February 2nd, 22. Petitioner's attorney e-filed petitioner's response to respondent's motion for recusal, joining in respondent's request that Judge Williams recuse from the case. Good job. Good job. Two attorneys trying to do the right thing at some point after being bullied out of doing the right thing months earlier. God. On about February 8, 2022, Judge Williams called a local family law attorney, EA, who was uninvolved with respondent's case. At the time Judge Williams' phone call to EA had pending cases before Judge Williams. During the conversation, Judge Williams brought up a recent recusal issue she was dealing with, commenting that an individual Judge Williams, thought she had a good relationship with and had recommended cases to was trying to accuse her, Judge Williams, of doing something wrong. Ex parte communication, showing preferential treatment because you're sorority sisters, saying that you have her personal cell phone number, you're just going to call her. This is not high school. Grow up. Super City Girl Judge, grow up. What are you sour about? This is one less case on your plate. Grow up. Recuse yourself. Get the hell on. So when you don't sit and think logically about case law that supports the impropriety of you recusing yourself, where no one should have to ask you to do it, just bring up reasonable argument as to why it should be done. You should want to recuse yourself for the purposes of preserving impartiality of the court, for the purposes of maintaining the public's trust with the court. You gotta go. The devil is a liar. And so are you. Doing something wrong. You sound like a kid. You sound like a child throwing a tantrum. You accuse me of doing something wrong. Get over yourself. We're showing personal feelings for. This is ridiculous. It's so unbelievable. Good grief. I thought Christina Peterson was bad. Oh Lord, you just like hold my beer. I thought Christina Peterson was something else. Shermela Williams, Fulton County, come on up. Hold my beer. Hold my collard green juice. Good girl. Down. Judge Williams told EA individual to her the case, and one of the senior judges to preside, so Judge Williams, called the individual to ask him what was going on. Regarding the recusal issue, Williams told EA that she did not want to recuse because it would look like Judge Williams, did something wrong, and Judge Williams, did not want it to impact her in a future election, because it's all about an election that you aren't deserving of at this point. See, this is what I mean by not voting identity politics, because she's messing up all over the place. Ex parte communication, showing favoritism, bias, preferential treatment because sorority sisters and sitting on a shield or whatever that means. And then wants to sit here and have ex parte communication with an attorney who now the attorney for the respondent, as well as the petitioner, had to band together to say, you need to recuse yourself off this case. We're not in the mood for this. This is giving us a headache. Goodbye. Give this to another judge. We're not going through this. And you need to grow up. Grow up. We ain't got time for this. Because you're worried about your future election. That's what this is about, people. Because an elected judge who is there at the will of the people, who should not make the same mistake twice, only cares about this impacting her future election, not upholding the law at all. When you refuse to correct the court of record about falsely reported income and then using that false income to calculate child support and issue an IDO. And all you're worried about is whether something is impacting your future election. Bye, Felicia. Goodbye. Hopefully, not only you get removed from the bench, you are disbarred from the Georgia State Bar as well. Because Lord knows you should not even be practicing law when you won't uphold the law. Now, we haven't even gotten to the part where she unlawfully detained a young lady for over 30 minutes in a holding cell. We haven't gotten to that yet. Williams commented to EA, the respondent and her attorneys had made the matter personal and it was messed up. Once again, this petulant child type mentality, throwing a tantrum and stuff, because weird things, because things aren't going your way. So your ego and pride, once again, is it's muddying the waters here. You just forget about all laws and court rules. During the same, man, this court hearing is going to be interesting. Courtney Veal, you need to push for this case to move forward. You need to move for this case to move forward. There's no reason why Shermela Williams should still be assigned cases while she's being investigated by the JQC. While these charges are sitting with a court of law, when this is how she acts. And she's only worried about an impact to her future election. So it's all about her maintaining that power and that six-figure salary. If the JQC refuses to remove you, the courts refuses to look at the facts of the case and remove you, we the people will vote you out. Either way, you're gone. You'll be removed. This is insane. This is insane. This landed in a complaint, y'all. There are people that's going to come in and testify to this. They made it personal and it's messed up. During the same conversation, Williams and EA also discussed child custody matters generally. Judge Williams told EA that Judge Williams starts from a place of joint physical custody in child custody matters and tells the party to get her away from that place. On or about February 9, 2022, EA told respondent about her conversation with Judge Williams. EA told respondent that Judge Williams said Judge Williams, was not going to recuse from the respondent's case, as doing so could harm her in a future election. Because people are going to go in and testify against you. And you're not even smart enough to figure that out. You think you would just step down and resign. That's what you should do. No, that pride and ego and your salary. You're not guaranteed either way because you can be voted out. There needs to be a special election to have her voted out. EA also told respondent that Judge Williams said that the respondent and her attorneys had made it personal. No, you made it personal. You threw a tantrum on a child. EA also told respondent that Judge Williams remarked that Judge Williams, was going to show respondent personal in reference giving custody of respondent child to the father. So you retaliated because that's what she does. Because she has an issue with the mothers in many cases and gives custody to the fathers even when there's physical video evidence of a father physically grabbing a child in the presence of police officers when the child has requested to live with the mother. She doesn't care about that, or evidence, or laws, or court rules, or nothing, because she cares about her election more. See, what you've done is energized all this freedom of press and freedom of speech. You're gonna get reported on from many angles, from many people, because this is ridiculous. What if the father was not fit? So you retaliated against the respondent. You're gonna show her personal and get the custody over to the child's father. So you take it out on all other cases where you take it out on the mothers because of this, and you just give custody to the fathers, even though there's video evidence of the father grabbing the child in the presence of two cops that threatened the father that they were going to have their supervisors come out. He didn't release the child physically. This is the pettiness that you get from people that are incompetent and should not be sitting on the bench, that were voted in because of identity politics, as if there are no other attorneys that will make a good judge. So you've been retaliating ever since. She takes it out on the mothers. And there are many cases that will support that. Courtney Veal might want to rethink my complaint. Again, this is insanity. EA also told respondent Williams mentioned that she had given respondent a lot of business, and if respondent thought her case was not going in her favor, respondent should have just called me, Judge Williams, instead of filing a motion to recuse. Both attorneys on both sides wanted you gone. Get over it. February 14, 2022, JQC investigative panel staff emailed Judge Williams a written preliminary notice of JQC complaint in the number 2022-102. February 17, 2022, 4:52 p.m., Judge Williams issued a 7-page order on respondent's motion for recusal, denying the respondent's motion for recusal, because that's what she does. She just denies stuff and doesn't care because she's acting out of emotions and she's retaliating. Neither party should want her to give an order on anything when she's acting like a petulant child and not utilizing the law and case law and precedents and court rules to make impartial, neutral decisions, especially when it affects the custody of a child. All because you're concerned about your election, not the child. You are the worst, Judge Williams. And when you get removed from the bench, you got some civil matters coming your way in the form of lawsuits. Lots and lots of lawsuits coming your way. A whole lot of them. Because you don't care about the children. You care about your election. And you said it. You didn't think somebody would tell on you? Like, this is disgusting of you. The order included Judge Williams' timeline of case events which advanced factual claims, because you love lying in court orders. Oh yeah, she lies like hell in court orders. You just lie. You just put things that just you lie like hell. When you're willing to perpetuate lies like someone's income that can be easily disproven with a copy of a paycheck stub. And you say, I'm going to use this because I don't like this mother. Because you don't like any of the mothers. Because of a hoodie. This is how she is. This is why you got to go. This is why you're being reported on. What you can't stop is the court of public opinion. Freedom of speech in the press. You sit and vent and cry over it all day. At this point, no one cares. Your behavior should not be pampered and tolerated. It should be addressed the way it should be. This case should not be sitting here stalling because your attorney decided to take on a murder trial. Get another attorney. Represent yourself. But the JQC, y'all are being too easy. This has been going on for too long. We all deserve an expedite this hearing, please, and move this along. An expedited case is what we all deserve at this point because we, the voters, have the right to see this move forward. Too many victims out there, Courtney Veal. Too many. And you need to hear them out. She advanced factual claims about the history of the case and referenced emails from respondent's attorney W.A. to the court. The order also included 3 footnotes, each asserting a denial by Judge Williams of facts which were set forth in respondent's motion for recusal. Footnote 1 states, though not relevant for the purposes of this order or the court's analysis of respondent's recusal motion, the court denies having ex parte communication with respondent about this case on October 18, 2022 or any other time. Why lie about that? 4 minutes after filing the order, at 4:56 p.m., Judge Williams issued a voluntary recusal pursuant to Uniform Superior Court Rule 25.7. Because we have court rules in place on why you should just recuse your damn self when there is some appearance or the impropriety of bias. It's ridiculous. You did this 4 minutes after filing that order to prove a point that no one cares about. And you're not even going to go through and read all of that. 4 minutes later, you issue a ruling, another order, where you didn't voluntarily recuse yourself. They don't care about the one you issued, the previous one where you denied it. No one cares about that. It was like you just trying to get your opinion out. Just do a dissertation or something. You just do an op-ed. Get over it. The first sentence states, though respondent's motion to recuse or petitioner's response to a respondent's motion for recusal stand denied because they were neither timely nor presented to the court as required by the law. They want to sit and utilize the law to their advantage only when it's convenient for them because, that's how hypocrites operate. The misrepresentations in respondent's motion to recuse are concerning to the court. Your misrepresentations of you admitting to ex parte communication and calling her on the phone, her personal cell phone. Oh, okay. So as you all can see, she took 9 months to do a final hearing and send out an order. These other charges here are just her just consistently not submitting orders within a timely manner. 19 months, 26 months, 31 months, 30 months, 30 months, 30 months, 26 months. This is god awful. Jesus Christ. 5 months, 2 months too long. You get 90 days. It's an emergency here. Oh, my dear Lord. 5 months, 14 months. Jesus. It's like she just sits back and just eat collard greens and just do nothing else. You don't do nothing else. 17 months. They need to do an audit in her chambers. Figure out, like, what exactly are you all doing the 8-9 hours a day you up there? 8 months. Oh, my Lord, have mercy. 30 months. 10 months. 23 months. A voluntary recusal order was done here, reassigned to Judge Ellerby. So she just ain't gonna learn nothing. All right. Child, all these counts, y'all have to read this. This is something else, y'all. There is how many pages? 36 pages. of her violating rules and laws, failing to just do the right thing. This is what you brought upon yourself. You brought this upon yourself. You and Christina Peterson are about to be real close friends. The JQC said, we did it once, we'll do it again. Here's the conclusion. Violations of the Code of Judicial Conduct warrant discipline when they amount to willful misconduct in office, willful and persistent failures to perform the duties of office, or conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice, which brings the judicial office into disrepute. Georgia Constitution 1983, Article 6, Section 7, Paragraph 7A, JQC Rule 6A. Judge Williams' conduct as outlined above amounts to willful misconduct in office, willful and persistent failures to perform the duties of office, and conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice, which brings the judicial office into disrepute. Respectfully submitted, June 6, 2024. Courtney Veal, Director, Georgia Bar Number 49391. You all can email her at cveal@gajqc.gov. Send her complaints. She got to go. Williams got to go. Super City Girl Mayor. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, and listen. There's one more article I just gotta pull up. I gotta pull this up because she just didn't learn. She don't know how to act. She did not learn, not at all. Oh Lord, have mercy, bless my soul. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. All right. Yeah, so here's the latest of this Super City Girl judge. Faces new ethics charges amid controversial detention case and allegations of misconduct because she keeps doing it. The JQC has filed over a dozen new ethics charges against Fulton County Superior Court Judge Shermela Williams, alleging misconduct, including the unjustified detention of a 22-year-old woman during her parents' divorce proceedings. The charges also accuse Williams of delaying rulings for years and improperly intervening in a contempt proceeding on behalf of her uncle. Her uncle, Williams, who has faced previous allegations of favoritism and mishandling cases, is scheduled for a hearing on the initial charges on March 5th, while her attorney asserts that the new allegations are not new and questions the timing of their filing. No, they are new because she has a litany of issues. And if you don't want to represent her because you can't believe that she's this bad, then you need to just drop off the case and go work your Merc trial and get the hell on. That's it, period. Or he should be questioned. This is ridiculous. So, now here's the new complaint. I'm only going to read the part about I'm only just going to go over the part about the charge of the young lady that was unlawfully detained and the uncle. All right, because we're hitting an hour and 23 minutes with this. So, yeah, this is something else. And there's a reason why I'm going into depth about this. You have judges like this sitting on the bench that don't know how to act, and they think that they're impervious to the rule of law. They think they're above it. They think they should not have to answer to anyone. They think they don't do anything wrong when they do many, many things wrong. We went from 17 counts to now 15. A whole new list of charges, 15 more counts to her attorney. That's a total of what? 17, 15, 32? Yeah, no, there are more cases, some of which didn't make the cut when filed to Courtney Veal as a complaint. That's going to be refiled. Trust me, there are a lot more victims out there. Fulton County is a very large county. You don't think there's more than 32 complaints out there? 32 charges that can be filed against her for misconduct, ex parte communication, showing biases, favorable treatment, retaliating, now unlawful detainment. Holy Jesus. June 17, 22, a complaint for divorce was filed in Superior Court of Fulton County. October 25, 23, Williams presided over the final hearing. During the final hearing, the party's 22-year-old daughter, MD, was called as a witness, not a party to the case, a damn witness, just a witness. MD, who had a good relationship with her mother, petitioner, and a strained relationship with her father, respondent, testified that she had gone to respondent's apartment and, among other things, damaged contents of the apartment. MD was seated in the courtroom gallery after evidence was completed and during closing arguments. During petitioner's closing argument, Williams interrupted because rude, began to talk about MD's testimony and instructed MD to stand up in the gallery. Inappropriate. Williams then instructed a deputy to put MD in custody and bring her to the front of the courtroom. First of all, the deputy should have said, why am I putting her in custody? Based on what charge? Because I cannot participate in what you're about to do that is highly unethical and unlawful. Because no one wants to have a spine and a backbone to one person. Now look, there's a whole charge here. And that deputy will be questioned and brought in as a witness to this. He should be summoned and subpoenaed. If he's not, I don't know what's going on, Courtney Veal. This is god awful. After MD was brought to the front of the courtroom, Williams questioned her in front of multiple onlookers. So public shame and humility and embarrassment. You don't think that's traumatic enough? You had her detained and put in cuffs in front of people for no justifiable reason. What was the charge again? You didn't even charge her with contempt. You just did it. Abusing your power that was gifted to you through a democratic process called an election. Because no one had to vote for you. We don't owe you our votes. And since you're so worried about your elections and nothing else, you're not going to be elected again. No, you will not. Bullying from the bench, this is deplorable and disgusting of you. Oh my God. Yeah, I read the previous complaint. This is, I don't know if she can, let me not say that, because she might just say, hold my beer, Lady Luck Club, I can get worse. It's shameful. It's shameful. This is why all of YouTube is about to ascend upon you. Kidding me? No, nothing like court of public opinion to add some pressure, because that's exactly what this needs. What to move along, Courtney Veal. And for you to consider many more victims out there of her biased treatment and misconduct and abuse of power and misinterpretation of law. Just disgusting. Williams asked, so that means that you came here today, you admitted to 20, 30, 35, 36 years. You don't even know. You went from 20 to 36 worth of prison time on this stuff. You're just scaring her. So fear mongering? Is that what we do? Is that what judges do? Fear monger? Good grief. Do you understand that? And all for a divorce that had nothing to do with you, right? These are her parents. How does that not affect her? How do you know that? You don't know what she's gone through. That's being so insensitive. It's disgusting. You are some man's daughter too, I'm sure. Then you have a father. You're some woman's daughter. You have a mother. You act like she's not supposed to be distraught over her parents getting a divorce. You have no idea what she's gone through and experienced. Why she might be closer to her mother than her father. I have no idea. Unbelievable. And she's 22, so of course she's going to stand there and say yes. But I'd be like, wait, what? How do you know that? You're not a criminal judge. You're family law judge. Stay in your lane. Williams then instructed the deputy, go show her, ND, what the cell looks like. He should have said, can't do that. None of the attorneys in the courtroom said, Your Honor, we cannot permit that. We cannot permit that. You're about to incarcerate someone. You're about to detain someone, put them in a holding cell unlawfully. What is the charge here? She's entitled to due process. That's not how we operate here in family court. Even a criminal court judge, except Judge Ur Glanville. Because he was definitely going to put Brian Steele in jail for reasons. Oh, because he participated in, the judge participated in the ex parte communication. It's sad that that's the example as the chief judge of Fulton County Superior Court. Judge Glanville showing his biased character and failure to remain impartial and participating in ex parte communication. and then trying to hold the criminal defense attorney in direct criminal contempt of court. And when Ashley Merchant, being the boss that she is, who really should probably be a Fulton County judge here in Superior Court, she would make an excellent judge. She had to come down there and defend Brian. He didn't even want to hear her out. And she's spitting out case law and showing precedents off the top of her head like it's nothing. Like, this is easy for me. Was balling. You know what? If Ashley Merchant decided to go run to be the new Fulton County DA, I would vote for you, Ashley Merchant. I would vote for you. Yes, I definitely would. That 15-minute of just powerhouse display of intelligence and competency and just being sharp and quick on your feet was impeccable. Well done. I saw that. I actually reacted to it. I have a video on it. But that was well done. Well done, Ashley Merchant. Okay, so she tells the deputy to go show her MD what the cell looks like and told petitioner's counsel to continue her closing argument. But the counsel didn't say, Your Honor, I cannot continue in good faith because you just ordered and instructed the deputy to put her in a holding cell, and we don't even know what you're charging her with. Y'all all attorneys. Then all y'all go to law school? You can't hold one person accountable? So there's no checks and balance in the courtroom. She thinks she's queen. I'm sorry, we don't condone a monarchy or dictatorship or authoritarianism in the United States of America. You can take your ass to England or wherever you want to go for that. You go to Russia. They love dictatorship. But get the hell out of here. You're not queen of the court. We got rid of the monarchy over 400 years ago. It's called a Declaration of Independence. We're not in the mood. This is the democracy here. You were elected, and no one owes you the privilege of sitting in this position. And now you're putting people in holding cells, following along with Christina Peterson, who unlawfully incarcerated a woman over a marriage license. Did you not think that was wrong? And then you turn around and do the same thing? Might be on a lesser scale for less time, but it's still restricting and revoking someone's liberty and freedom. You kidding? Oh man. The deputy took MD into the holding cell where she remained for approximately 30 to 45 minutes. 45 minutes too long. After closing arguments concluded, Williams instructed the deputy to bring MD out from the holding cell for me, please. Once MD was back in the courtroom, Williams asked, How was that experience for you, MD? MD replied, Horrible. You have no idea what type of PTSD and trauma you invoked upon her forcibly. That was not even based on a law or charge or anything. It was just unlawful and unnecessary. You already scolded her and had her detained in front of the public, in front of onlookers. You publicly shamed and humiliated her because she's upset that her parents are getting a divorce. Williams followed with a lecture that she has no right to lecture nobody. I didn't take you seriously at all. I just literally sat there and said to myself, sitting here misquoting laws and just messing up all over the place. And yet she's under JQC investigation. That's all I kept saying to myself in my head. Followed up with a lecture to MD about being responsible for her actions, stating that she could use this courtroom experience as a learning lesson to guide you going forward where you can continue to do reckless stuff. While you do reckless stuff, and now you're under investigation for it. And you're going to have to be removed from the bench. There's no way she should be permitted to stay on the bench, or you'll be voted out. Either way, you're going to be gone. We don't care. You're going to go. You got to go. You got to go. Williams then added, let me tell you something. I was a prosecutor for 10 years. Sounds like your campaign video. You should have played your campaign video. This same video I just played in the beginning of mine. Yeah. Said the same thing. It's like auto repeat. I was a prosecutor for 10 years, and let me tell you what I saw over and over again. Girls who came in here with daddy issues, they never even realized they had, but that's how they ended up in certain situations. While you retaliated against a respondent because you gave her business and then thought about just giving custody to the father out of retaliation, not because the law permitted that, not because the evidence showed that was the best fit. Nope. Just because you being retaliatory. It's disgusting. And what you chose to do as far as your relationship with your dad, that's on you. That's between you, your dad, and the good Lord. So why did you unlawfully detain her for 45 minutes? You certainly had nothing to do with that. It's between her dad, and the good Lord. So why are you putting her in a holding cell for 45 minutes? Unlawfully. None of the attorneys said, Judge, we cannot allow you to do this. Stop. You're already under investigation. When are you going to learn? When are you going to learn, Super City Girl Judge? We're not supporting this. This is crazy. I want to get down to the case here with her uncle. Respondent uncle. Yeah, this is the... Hold on. Okay, let me go back up because this is it. This is the last one I'm going to point out because you can look at the other previous filing, and it's just more charges of her untimely filing of orders, having people wait months and all this other stuff. This is ridiculous. On April 22nd, 2024, Williams called a Metro Atlanta family law firm and left a message for a specific second-year associate attorney, who called her back after 5 p.m. on Judge Williams' personal cell phone number, because somehow you still think that's okay to do. Judge Williams did not indicate the reason for her call when she left the message. At the time, the law firm had pending cases before Judge Williams. So that's a conflict. The associate called the number provided by Judge Williams and left the message. Judge Williams called the associate back shortly after 6 p.m. and the call lasted for approximately 40 minutes. Oh my God. You can't make this up. Judge Williams told the associate that she was not calling in her capacity as a judge, because she really was, but rather on behalf of her uncle, who was a respondent in a pending contempt action in Fulton County Superior Court, in which a partner at the associate's law firm represented the petitioner. So as opposed to her calling her uncle's attorney that worked in the law firm, she calls a separate attorney that's only been there like a second year there. So you're trying to screw her career up right along with yours because you care about your election. Who, child, you can't make this up. At the time of this phone call, the petition for contempt was pending before Judge Kevin Farmer, who was Judge Williams' colleague on the Fulton County Superior Court Family Division. So, colleague judge, who still refuses to put her in check, because checks and balances exist for a reason, Judge Kevin Farmer. You could tell Judge Shermela Williams, you need to take a break. You need to go on vacation, like a 6-month vacation. All right. You need to clear up the cases you have and just take a break. You under investigation. Take a break. This ain't working. What I'm reading in these complaints is disturbing to the average person. You know, because when you have a jury trial, the average person will be looking at this stuff. And everybody will be disturbed. No one is going to say, yeah, this sounds about right. This is how you do court. No, the hell it ain't. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. During the call, Williams told the associate that her uncle responded. Courtney Veal. Her uncle responded was going through a difficult time. Judge Williams asked, never mind the young lady who was going through a difficult time, that you unlawfully detained for 45 minutes, seeing her parents get a divorce because she has a strained relationship with her father, and you sitting here talking about daddy issues. So disgusting. That's nasty work. That her uncle responded was going through a difficult time. Williams asked the associate to agree to an extension of time for the uncle respondent to file her answer in the pending case. The associate then asked Judge Williams whether she was representing the uncle respondent. Williams responded she was not. So that's a no. So you're not the attorney and you're not a party to the case. They shouldn't even have stayed on the phone with you. Williams then stated that because the associate and others at her law firm were reasonable, they should work something out. Are you being threatening? Is this a threat I hear? Super City Girl Judge. Are you being threatening? They should work something out? Not could, maybe. You didn't ask to say pretty please? Oh, okay. You can't make this up. The associate told Judge Williams that the uncle responded, and this uncle responded, Courtney Veal. needed to direct his request for an extension to the court and send a written request to the partner at her law firm that was lead counsel on the case. During the conversation, Williams argued the merits of the case to the associate as if she's the attorney representing either party. Like, this is ex parte communication, but it's not, because you're not even an attorney to the case or a judge on the case. So what are you doing? You're just running your mouth. Go eat some collard greens and go sit down. God, this is absurd. Now you see why cases like mine are sitting in an appeal status. Because it is. You don't know how to act. Good Lord, you suck. Watch out. Both parties should want this case to go to an appeal, so that both parties can say, at least we had a fair hearing this time. No. I got to do it all by myself. But okay. Okay. Oh, man. 2 days later, the uncle respondent made his own written request for an extension, which he obtained. Hold on. Let me go back. They should work some out. That's the threat. The associate told Judge Williams that the uncle respondent needed to direct his request for an extension to the court, like file a motion for an extension, and send a written request to the partner at her law firm that was lead counsel on the case. That should go through his counsel. During the conversation, Williams argued the merits of the case to the associate, like she cared. Why did you care? You only care about your election. Now you care because it's your uncle? Never mind that young lady that was unlawfully detained because she didn't have a great relationship with her father, and you may not even know why. There could have been abused. How you know that? Crazy. 2 days later, the uncle responded, made his own written request for an extension, which he obtained. This is the nonsense of the buffoonery of this. Then it goes through many more cases where she just couldn't file orders in time. Y'all see what's bold in black letters? That's the number of time that lapsed between the hearings and her issuing the final order. Because that's some lazy work. You just sitting on cases. Why are you having a hard time recusing yourself? You take everything personal, like a personal attack against you, because someone is telling you to kick rocks. Get off the case. If you're going to take 30 months to issue an order, you should probably be like, one less thing to have to worry about. Bye, Felicia. Bye, y'all gone. You shouldn't even be objecting to it or giving anybody a hard time or trying to find ways to retaliate by saying, I'm just going to give custody over to the father because I don't like the mother's hoodie. Because you're deplorable. Unbelievable. So y'all see here, 29 months, 14 months, many months, lots of time. Violations of Rule 2.2 all over the place. Rule 2.2 violated. And she willfully did this. You did this on your own. You brought this on yourself. You brought these allegations on yourself. In conclusion, violations of the Code of Judicial Conduct warrant discipline when they amount to willful misconduct in office, willful and persistent failures to perform the duties of office, or conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice, which brings the judicial office into disrepute. For the Constitution of 1983, Article 6, Section 7, Paragraph 7A, JQC Rule 6A, Judge Williams' conduct, as outlined above, amounts to willful misconduct in office, willful and persistent failures to perform the duties of office, and conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice, which brings the judicial office into disrepute. Where is my attorney's order to withdraw as counsel that you never signed, that was sent to you twice? You're the worst. This is why, Courtney Veal, you need to speak with more victims. There are a lot of victims of Shermela Williams. More than just the cases you cited. You need to speak with them. The stories they can tell you. Georgia Bar number 493971. This was entered on February 17th, 2025. Almost 2 months ago. She's still acting up. Email cveal@gajqc.gov. Forward in. Y'all, I just, it's crazy to know that this woman has been in this position, and it almost just seems like she's been torturing people with her nonsense, nasty work she's doing here. Nasty work here. Abusing of power and authority. You acting like a city girl, Mia. Yeah, this is some nasty work here. This is not something that you're entitled to. It's something that you earn. And when you abuse that power, you abuse the discretion that the court has, it's time for you to go. Period. I don't know how you got Bobby V to say you should to endorse you, but oh good God. And I wish people would read these court documents before they keep endorsing you with this. This is horrible. Horrible. You have no idea what you're doing to these kids when you give rulings in favor of one parent over the other because you're mad at one of the parents. Especially when you don't review full evidence. Makes no sense. Yeah, I hope you guys listen. We're tired of these city girl judges. Like a plague with the corruption. And I have to say, at the end of the day, it took me a minute to work on this video. We're almost into 2 hours. But this was worth it because these rulings that she issues affects the lives of children and their livelihood, affects their relationships with their parents, opposed to her fostering an environment for people to, arbitrate. And if one party doesn't, at least ask why. Okay, what was the issue with the arbitration and mediation here? Why couldn't you all work this out outside of having to come to court? I know personally for me, I wanted to go through arbitration. The other parent didn't. But if you're not going to review evidence, police officers are threatening the other parent to release a child, physically grabbing him on police body camera footage, and you fail to review the full video to see that occur, to see the fear in the child's eyes, and you only care about your elections, you made that clear, then why should you maintain this position? It's proof that you don't care about the child. You don't know if the child's being abused, subjected to emotional distress, or anything. You just said, you know what? One parent is angrier than the other. I'll do what I need to do. I'm just going to give it to the father. You have way too many charges against you for you to still be practicing any law right now. You should want to take a break to say, let me just get through this investigation and see what comes out with that before I sit here and keep making rulings where I'm acting out of malice and publicly shaming, unlawfully detaining witnesses in matters. I hope that every YouTuber that sees this, just like with Christina Peterson, takes time to read and research this information, do your investigation on this. Contact Courtney Veal. This case needs to proceed forward because it's not moving. The attorney, I guess, decided out of nowhere, he's just like, oh, I have a murk trial. This is not important. Oh, okay. Well, you need to get your ass off of it. Just the end. Get out the case. There's just it's many more court documents out there. She filed whole responses where she admitted that she did indeed all that attorney tried to deny it, make it seem like, oh, she's just not being fair with me. I gave her all this business. I might just give the custody over to the father. I'll show her what personal looks like. It's disgusting. You really think Fulton County voters deserve that? So, if you guys share this video, please look into this. I know Hannibal got my email, and he's a pretty big YouTuber. Pink Book Lessons, I emailed you as well. Please look into this. Those The city girl judge don't know how to act. And JQC, y'all should not be okay with this case just sitting. All right, Courtney Veal, you guys did great work with Christina Peterson. She had to go. You got another judge doing the same thing. The unlawful detainment is what gets me. You taking away someone's liberty and freedom, and for what? After the public shame and humiliation, you have no idea what type of trauma that young lady experienced for them 45 minutes. She's sitting in a holding cell and wasn't even charged with anything. And then neither of the attorneys said anything. Didn't stop her. When are these judges gonna start correcting each other? You know what? Let me show y'all. Let me show you all what I think what integrity looks like. It sounds like to me. Let me show y'all because there are other better judges out there. There are other individuals that would be fantastic judges and would do the right thing. She's not the only one. Get someone else. We don't have to keep voting for her. I don't understand why she thinks that we do. No, we don't. We don't have to keep voting for you. I'm gonna pull this up and so you all can see what to me what an upstanding judge with some integrity and dignity and character looks like. That has has me angry and upset over the behavior of a Christina Peterson and a Shermela Williams. Why I'm passionate about this as well. My personal connection to this nonsense woman. But look at all of the cases cited and the effect that she's had on these people's livelihoods and on the children involved. It is absolutely disturbing that someone would endorse that for reelection, which is all she cares about, and she said it. You don't think those attorneys are going to go in and testify against you? I hope they're not subjected to any type of bullying or harassment or anything. I hope they're protected, Courtney Veal, your witnesses. This is why this case needs to move forward. Too much time has just lapsed, and it doesn't make sense. Let this move forward. I'm going to show you guys just a taste. Just a taste, all right? So, let's see. Now, bear with me 1 second. So, I want to get to a good point where hold on. I'm just trying to get it to a reasonable point where you can just hear what a judge with a black woman judge with some dignity and integrity and character been on the bench for a very long time, what that looks and sounds like. You can look at her case files, you can look at her rulings, you know, and take a page from her book. This is what these younger judges should be looking up to. This is what you know, someone who still believes in having some ethics and integrity here and understand the value of their rulings and the impact that it has on people's lives. Hold on. Hold on, I'm trying to get it to a point, y'all. 1 second. So, I dote on my godmother. I do. I am very proud of her, and I'm immensely blessed to have her in my life. But one of the things that I truly admire is his work ethics and integrity. Um, even at the threat of it being questioned, her ethics comes first, and it's just something that needs to be reinstated. Like these younger judges coming up, Christina Petersons and Shermela Williams need to remember. And when you get to the point where you think you're above reproach and correction, this is how you end up being charged with 15, 17 charges from the JQC. This is how you end up getting removed from the bench. You forget that you should be in a constant state of learning. You're not always right. But I think the ability to recognize that and at least to say, I have enough integrity to avoid repeated pattern of behavior where I'm doing things that are unethical, illegal, or immoral. That's what helps you to, you know, remain respected and in keeps you on the bench. Your ability to uphold the law and interpret and enforce the law, whether you like it or not, is irrelevant, and not make it personal. When you're saying in phone calls where people are basically reporting on you, they're gonna be coming in and testifying that you said you don't want anything that could have an impact on your election. This is the difference between a judge elected and a judge like my godmother that's appointed. Because now you don't feel like you have to sit here and just keep this clean image to maintain votes. You're doing the right thing because it's just the right thing to do. So I'm going to play this part here. She's asked about um, being a mentor and some leadership guidance that she gives here. So let's tune into this. This is Boss Lead Podcast. I implore you guys to check out this channel. Please check out this video. This is Judge Linda Walker. She's a U.S. magistrate judge for the Northern District Court of Georgia. So she's a federal judge. She deals with federal cases. Those three-letter alphabet boys. That super stupid is surely soon to face, and that's what's the cases she handled. So let's get
young people out there that are in need of mentors. What do you say? I mean, I know what I usually tell, young women that want to go into medicine in terms of finding a mentor, but do you have any advice?
I would say to them first, if you have a good work ethic, people will notice you, particularly you work hard, and it's easier to obtain a mentor or get a mentor when they've already observed your work ethic, and don't be afraid to approach someone and to let them know, I have watched you. I like how you handle your case. I like your work ethic. I think I can learn something from you. It's okay, because sometimes they're automatically created just because you work and you have that bond. I think I've never asked anybody to be my mentor. It just formed because of a relationship. And I know personally, people have observed me and just made themselves my mentor. And I'm very grateful and thankful for that. But if that doesn't happen for everybody, then it doesn't just form spontaneously over the course of time. But it's okay to approach someone to ask. I've never turned anybody down that's asked me to be a mentor. If they come and you're serious and you keep up with me, now if you ask and then you go off, or if I tell you something you don't like, you don't have to go along with it. It's always your choice, but it's okay to approach people to ask, but let them know why you have just selected them. To be your mentor. You would like them. No, I'm not going to bother you if you have time, if we can set up some time, whatever works for you. But I would appreciate exchanging information with you or finding out more about you. I have actually asked to work on a particular case when I was at the county attorney's office, when I was in number 2. I didn't have to try cases, but there was a lawyer, very, very smart. I knew from clerking, I clerked for a federal judge. That's another thing too. A lot of times the federal clerkship, And I forgot that part of it. For those law students, federal clerkships are very important. They're very hard to get. And for me, again, the dean of the law school put me on the list with other people, and I got a call to the dean.
I just want to point out, she said in this interview that she applied for med school and law school at the same time. What is your IQ, woman? You had to break some world records. I have never heard, and I know a lot of people that are very smart. She's in an interview with two medical physicians. These are two doctors that are interviewing her. Dr. Angela Walker and Dr. I don't know the other lady's name. I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. But these are two doctors on this interview with her. It's two people in the interview. Dr. Sylvia Morris and Dr. Angela Walker. They're medical doctors. And she said, I applied for medical school and law school at the same time, which would imply she would have had to take in the MCATs and the LSATs and pass both. And then it was like, I just whichever one took me first. Dr. Sylvia Morris was like, wait a minute. Dr. Sylvia Morris is funny. I enjoy listening to her in this interview. Wait a minute. What? You applied for med school and law school at the same time. You say that like it's easy. That's exactly what she said. And then my godmother sitting there like, he was like, yeah, it was easy for me. I was sitting there like, what the hell did I just hear? I didn't know this. I didn't. I did not know that. You applied for med school and law school at the same time. That's she didn't take an IQ test. It's like a freak accident or something. It's like that doesn't happen. Normally, you don't hear people say that. They're hoping to get into college. You're talking about I applied for medical school and law school at the same time. It was just a matter of whoever was gonna pick me first. And that's the path I went. What you say? You're talking about smart as a whip. Oh my God. I would love for her to take an IQ test. Seriously. You know what? What I've always hoped and dreamed for my godmother was that she would have been the first Black woman in the U.S. Supreme Court House. We got Ketanji Brown Jackson. I think that was a fantastic selection. She's very smart, competent. She knows what she's doing. You have Black women that are judges out here that are on point, that have that level of integrity and intelligence, and they carry this position well. They have humility with it. I don't think
has recommended you for a law clerk, and I said, me? I never had a conversation with the dean, and I said, okay, I'll go through. I happened to hear a couple of names and saw people who were interviewing. So I'm digressing, going back to that for young people. Don't ever rule yourself out.
This is so adorable. The fact, like I said, the humility. You see, Shermela Williams, this is how you carry this humility. The character, your character and integrity and your dignity, it matters. You're under investigation with 15 charges for unlawfully detaining someone that you can't deny you did not do because it's on a court of record. You have witnesses, the deputy, the attorneys, her parents, that are all going to testify exactly what you said and did. There's a court of record. You can't make this up. This is the example that I've had in my life since I was 16 years old. Can't make this up. So when I'm sitting here saying it is egregious for a judge to be under JQC investigation, facing the type of charges and the number of charges you're facing, Shermela Williams. When this has been my example since I was 16 years old. I'm 42. I'm telling on myself. So I don't expect anything less than that. And I don't think this is when it comes to integrity and maintaining the rule of law and upholding it, you know, you shouldn't be behaving any differently than Judge Walker, because you swore an oath to uphold the law and to protect and preserve our rights. The public's trust in you is gone. And those who continue to endorse you are ignoring what you've done and are not considering the impact that your horrible rulings and the delays of such have had on families and children. You are in family law. You're not a criminal court judge. Maybe you should have done that. But you have abused your authority and your power. Because I've had someone in my life that's shown me what it's like to have integrity and character, to have good morals and values. Not perfect, but goes out of a way to make sure that's kept at the forefront and carries this with grace and dignity. Yes, my godmother looks just like me, and I'm proud of it. So when this has been the example that's been set for me since I was a teenager, no, I don't expect anything less. Regardless of what type of judge you are, whether you're elected or appointed. If it's not immoral or unethical or illegal, there is no reason why you should not be doing the right thing and get your job done. That's what she taught me. That's what Judge Walker taught me. And this is a woman who, I don't know if I've ever told her this, but Mom, you have the ability to bring a room to a standstill with your presence. It's awe-inspiring, and it is just amazing to see the level of humility and how you carry all of this power in your position, in your title, so well, so gracefully. You wear it well. It's just beautiful on you, and it shows through your countenance, and your character and your integrity is just stellar, right? And I'm blessed to say that I've had this example in my life, a godmother and a mentor like her. So when I hear about Christina Peterson's and Shermela Williams acting like they've lost their minds, one's being removed and the other one's halfway out the door, no, I expect more. Because being a Black woman in power is just not enough at this point. You need to be smart and competent and maintain integrity. Stop taking things personal. Stop retaliating and abusing your power and the discretionary powers you're given as a judge and your authority. You're abusing it, and it's all over a whole complaint to the JQC. You don't know who people know and who you have affected in a very negative, adverse way. The consequences, the remnants you leaving behind. And you've already said you don't care because you only care about the impact of your election. So if that's all you care about, then we, the people of Fulton County and the voters, will not care when the ruling comes down that you are to be removed from the bench permanently. And might advocate for you to be disbarred, because that behavior is deplorable and disgusting, and it's just enough. So this is where I'm going to conclude. My mama.
Because I didn't meet your
adorable. All right. I wanted to end the video. It's a nice little pose. Look at that. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is just, it has been my video I've been working on and information and reading. There's a lot more court documents out there, a whole response from Shermela Williams on the complaint itself. She herself asked for many extensions. Then her attorney now decided, I'm going to take up a murder trial. They just delaying. They delaying it. So this is sort of just, it's irritating, but hopefully the reporting and getting this out in the court of public opinion and some independent journalists start kicking in more and people start advocating for justice to really be done the right way. The JQC has done this before and they'll do it again. They're going to remove her because she's got to go. It's toxic and it's just not healthy. It's not. There have been more horrible examples and charges in place where she had, and that's not all of them, Courtney Veal. Those are not all the charges. You have more victims out here of Shermela Williams than you know. So, hope you guys spread the word, share the video, like, and subscribe here in the Lady Luck Club. We got more reporting on more corrupt super city girl mayors just running around here, judges running around here acting like they've lost their minds. It's enough. Yeah, you guys are a drain on our tax dollars. All right. Until the next video, I appreciate you all tuning in. We're hitting 2 hours, 11 minutes. Thank you all so much for the support. Thank you guys for being patient with me with this video. There's a lot of information, but I hope you find it meaningful. And I hope that you guys spread the word. I hope that some of the other YouTubers out here, please take time to look this up. This judge got to go. Judge Shermela Williams got to go. All right. Take care, you guys. To the next video. Later, look out. Deuces.